From hero to fugitive, subscribe for more real crime stories. Like, share, and join the discussion below. The flashing red and blue lights painted the dark alley as Detective Jason Miller pressed his back against the wall, his breath coming in fast bursts. The city sirens screamed all around him, and his face, once celebrated on every news channel, now glowed on wanted alerts across every police radio. He could still hear his name echoing from the radios of the officers chasing him. Suspect is armed and dangerous. Approach with caution. A week ago, he was their hero. Tonight, he was their fugitive. Jason glanced at his trembling hands, still stained with blood he swore wasn't his. The briefcase he clutched held the only proof that could clear his name. He looked toward the end of the alley, where headlights cut through the fog. He wasn't sure if it was a way out or the end. As footsteps pounded closer, Jason whispered to himself, "How did it come to this?" The story began 3 weeks earlier. Detective Jason Miller had been one of the most trusted officers in the New York City Police Department. Known for solving impossible cases and protecting his city with heart and honor, he had earned medals, news interviews, and even a nickname, the People's Hero. But Jason was never one to bask in fame. He preferred quiet nights with his daughter, Emily, in their small apartment on 4th Avenue. His wife had passed years ago, and Emily was all he had left. Everything changed when Jason got assigned to investigate a string of armed robberies involving government shipments. Millions of dollars were vanishing without a trace. The evidence pointed to an underground group within law enforcement itself. Jason didn't want to believe it, but the clues led closer and closer to home. One night, while checking the surveillance files, Jason found something that made his blood run cold, a video showing his partner, Detective Cole Andrews, exchanging money with one of the robbery suspects. Jason replayed it 3 times, unable to believe it. His partner, the man who had saved his life on more than one occasion, was part of the theft ring. Jason knew he couldn't take this to the captain yet. He needed solid proof. The next day, he began gathering evidence quietly. But someone was watching him. His computer got wiped. His phone was cloned. And suddenly, money Jason never touched appeared in his bank account. By the time he realized what was happening, it was too late. The police raided his home that evening. His daughter Emily screamed as officers dragged him out in handcuffs, flashing lights filling the hallway. Jason shouted, "I'm being set up," but no one listened. And that was when he saw Cole watching from across the street, arms crossed, a faint smile on his face. Rain poured hard against the roof of the police van as Jason sat handcuffed, staring at the metal floor beneath his feet. His mind was spinning. Just 2 days ago, people called him a hero. Now, he was a criminal in the eyes of the world. The van turned sharply, and Jason caught a glimpse through the window. News crews were already gathered outside the precinct, shouting his name. Cameras flashed, voices called out. "Detective Miller, did you steal the money? Was the evidence real?" Jason stayed silent. He knew any word he said would be twisted against him. When the doors opened, officers pulled him out roughly. Inside the station, the same colleagues who once shook his hand now looked away. Some whispered. Some glared. Captain Ross stood waiting, his face pale. "Jason, I don't even know what to say," he muttered. Jason stared back. "You know me, Captain. You know I didn't do this." Ross sighed, lowering his voice. "The evidence says otherwise. There's money in your account, surveillance footage of you near the last robbery, and your fingerprints on the stolen briefcase." Jason's jaw tightened. "Someone's setting me up. Cole Andrews, he's behind this. He's been working with the robbers." But Ross shook his head slowly. "Cole's the one who reported you, Jason. He turned over the footage himself." Jason's heart sank. Cole had played him perfectly. Hours later, they threw him into a small interrogation room. A single camera blinked in the corner. Across the table sat 2 internal affairs officers, cold, calm, and certain of his guilt. They asked questions. Jason gave answers. None of it mattered. They already had their story. When they left, Jason sat alone in silence, the hum of the air conditioner the only sound. His eyes burned as he looked at his reflection in the one-way glass. The man staring back didn't look like a hero anymore. He looked like someone the world had already condemned. Then, just as he was losing hope, the door creaked open. A young female officer stepped in quietly. Her name tag read Officer Reyes. She glanced around before whispering, "Detective Miller, I believe you." Jason looked up sharply. "You what?" She slid a folded note across the table. "Someone's erasing the real evidence. You don't have much time. If you stay here, you'll never prove your innocence." Jason opened the note. Inside was an address and a key card. Before he could ask anything else, Reyes whispered, "They're coming for you tonight." Jason's pulse quickened. "Who's coming?" Reyes looked toward the hallway. "Everyone." The sound of boots echoed closer outside the door. Reyes leaned in one last time and said, "If you want to live, you need to run now." Jason's heart pounded like a drum as the sound of heavy boots neared the interrogation room. He glanced at Officer Reyes, who nodded toward the back door. Without hesitation, he slipped through, using the key card she'd given him. The door beeped softly and clicked open. He found himself in a dimly lit hallway leading toward the parking garage. The fluorescent lights flickered above him, and every flicker made his heart jump. He could hear officers shouting behind him, "Miller's gone. Lock every exit." Jason sprinted, his breath sharp and quick. His mind raced. The hero of the city, the man who'd once saved a mayor's son from a kidnapping, was now running from the same people who once saluted him. He reached the garage and ducked behind a parked patrol car. Red and blue lights flashed in the distance as search teams fanned out. Jason spotted a black SUV with its engine running, just like in the note. Could this be part of the setup, or had Reyes really meant to help him? He didn't have time to decide. He ran for it, jumped in, and found the keys already in the ignition. The second he turned them, the SUV roared to life, and he sped out of the garage, smashing through the security gate. Rain splashed against the windshield as he drove through the dark streets of New York. His hands gripped the wheel tightly. The city that once cheered his name now lit up his wanted posters across digital billboards. Detective Jason Miller, armed and dangerous. He parked under an old bridge and took out the note again. The address led to a small warehouse by the docks. He needed answers. When he got there, the warehouse was quiet, too quiet. Jason pushed open the rusty door, and inside, old computers and security monitors flickered weakly. Then he saw him, Cole Andrews, standing by a desk, smiling. "I knew you'd come, Jason," Cole said calmly, his gun resting on the table. "You always have to be the hero." Jason's anger boiled. "Why, Cole? We were partners." Cole shrugged. "Heroes fall faster than villains when people start asking questions. I just helped you fall." Jason stepped closer. "You framed me. For what?" "For everything you wouldn't do," Cole sneered. "You turned down the money." "I didn't." Before Jason could respond, flashing lights flooded through the warehouse windows. Police sirens echoed outside. Cole smirked. "Looks like your friends finally caught up." Jason's mind raced. He could turn himself in and be silenced forever, or expose Cole's confession. Cole raised his gun slowly. "It's over, Jason." But Jason noticed the body cam on his chest, still recording. He pressed the hidden switch just as the door burst open and officers stormed in. Cole fired. Jason dove behind a crate. The gunshot echoed through the building. And then, silence. When the smoke cleared, 2 officers rushed to the scene. Jason was gone. All that remained was his cracked badge lying on the floor, stained with rain, and the blinking light of his still recording body cam.